Good morning. It's been a little while since we've done a bass video, but I thought I'd just run you through a couple of things. There's Henry the dog. Hey buddy. That's a good boy. Just got back from the Greg Johnson tour, and I thought I'd just run through a couple of things that I have in my case and how I run some things when I'm on tour with other backline. So this is my heavy duty case I use for flying. I use a soft case for around town. I use a kind of normal guitar case if I'm driving out of town, and then when I'm flying I use something pretty hefty. There's a set list full of hits. I keep that in there every day. I like to try and keep everything in one bag. Sometimes when you're flying you only get one checked bag, so if I can squeeze everything into the guitar case, that's great. It's worked for me many times. So I've got 1, 2, 3 guitar leads in here. One is for the guitar, one is from my preamp, which we'll get to in a minute, to the amp, and then one is a spare. I think there may even be a little patch lead or something in there. So guitar strap, masks are a thing we get a tool with now, some spare strings, it's like a little cutter for the spare strings, little pliers. There's a little guitar tool in here with some screwdrivers and things. There's that little patch lead. There's a little foldable guitar stand, because you never know if you're going to get a guitar stand when you're out of town. There's some breath mints. I find Eclipse extra strong, particularly effective for after a gig. Intense they are, very good mint. I try and keep one of those in a couple of different bags. Here's a power adapter for a pedal, but this is what I was mainly wanting to talk about today. Is I like to take my own DI preamp with me, whether I'm in the studio or on a gig, but especially useful out of town. So what I've done for saving space is I've mounted, there's the Aguilar tone hammer and a little tuner, and I've mounted them on a DVD case that's been covered in gaffer tape and Velcro, so it makes a really small pedal board. I don't know if you can see that in the light. It's just a DVD case. There's also a pencil and a couple of toothpicks in there for a little on-the-road repairs. But basically the DI lets me get my own amp sound wherever I am. I use the DI here to go to the sound desk. On this one I can give the sound guy a signal that's not affected by here, so all I can do is I can change my sound on stage freely without affecting the sound person. And I plug my instrument in via the tuner here, and it goes out to the amp here, and then I can control my EQ on my instrument. Now one of the keys to making this work is you've got to set whatever amp you're using to as neutral as possible. So on this last tour I had backline from, there was Fender, there was Mesa, there was Gensbens, there was Ampeg, there was Hartkey, what else? EBS. There was a couple of failures along the way. The EBS died between sound check and the gig. So my little Fender Rumble had to come to the rescue. It was an Ampeg that had an issue. So, but regardless of the amp, what I do is I always set EQ on the amp neutral at 12 o'clock. So nothing's boosted or cut. Doesn't matter what it is. And then I'll set the gain to a point where it's not overdriving, because I just want the amp to be neutral, and I can adjust the volume. So all of my sound is going to be done on the pedals. So same with this amp. Everything would be set at 12 o'clock, turn off voicings and pre-shapes and contours and any kind of fancy wording, some kind of sounded button, any compressor, turn all that off, any bass boost, turn all that off. Set everything to neutral and control your sound from your own preamp at one spot, and you get really consistent sound everywhere. So that was really the point of this little video, just a little run through on how I run my kind of out of town bass sound. We'll see you soon.